Hey guys, Tim here, and today I'm going to give you a nice quick broad overview tutorial of Docker Hub, what it is, what it's used for, and how you can use it. All right, let's jump right into it. Okay, Docker Hub is a remote repository for Docker images. So even the naming kind of plays off of GitHub. GitHub is a remote repository for code. Docker Hub just borrows that idea and it hosts images, and it's custom tailored for that, and it offers additional services. So for instance, the free version of Docker Hub will give you one private repository, meaning other people can't see it, and they have a bunch of other tiers where you can have more private repositories. I personally use, I think, small or medium. It's a really nice UI. It's a good service to have, but I'm not here to promote them necessarily, but just kind of convey the idea of the service it's providing. One thing to note about Docker Hub is it is a remote repository, or you could call it a registry for Docker images. You could host your own registry. It's open source. Of course, you have to deal with all the headaches that might ensue from doing that, but you could do it yourself. So, if these tiers don't work for you and you're doing some enterprise level stuff, you could spin up your own registry. In addition to that, Google Cloud Platform has a container registry. Very similar idea, just a different host than the Docker Hub registry. But let's get started here. So again, what does Docker Hub do? Well, you might be developing your containers locally on your local computer. Well, Docker Hub gives you an easy way to push those to the cloud, and you can scrap everything on your local computer and then pull it from any client. So it's a way to kind of put your stuff into the cloud, and you can back up your stuff to the cloud essentially if you're working with a team, or if you just don't want your work to be saved to just your local computer. So let's what we're going to do is we'll create an image, and we'll push it to our Docker Hub repository, and I'll show you guys that in the UI, and I'll also show you guys like locally how that works. So I'm just going to run a Docker command here. So I just ran list images, and as you can see, I have no images. And then let's do list containers, and you can see I have no containers, but Docker's running because it's given me these columns here. So why don't we just download the Ubuntu image, which is a public image. So I'm going to do docker pull Ubuntu. And what this is going to do is it's going to fetch Ubuntu. And it's fetching Ubuntu from Docker Hub. Unless you specify a different registry, it's going to assume you're making a request to Docker Hub. So if I just look for Ubuntu here, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting the official Ubuntu image. It's public. It has 10 million polls. It has a rating here. So that's what I'm pulling here. Okay, it says it's complete. So let's do list images again. And there it is. Why don't we spin up a container so we can make some edits to it, and then we'll save it and we'll push it to Docker Hub. So I'm going to do docker run -detach. I'm going to run the Ubuntu image, and let's list out our containers. So all I did just now was we downloaded our Ubuntu image, and I just set up a container that is standing up and it's running right now. It's been up for 2 seconds, it's been up for 13 seconds, it's been up for 16 seconds, etc. So what I want to do is I want to make an edit to it so I can show you guys that you can actually push changes. So let's log into this container. So I'm going to do docker exec -it. We're going to pass it our container ID here. And I'm going to run the command bash. And now you can see we are in our Ubuntu container here. So why don't we make a directory? I'll call it Docker Hub Tutorial. let's go into our directory, and why don't we create something? Okay, so Vim's not installed on here. Now I could easily do, apt get install Vim, or I could do sudo apt get or whatever is needed to install Vim. I'd have to do apt get update, but I don't want to go through all that right now. So what I'm trying to show you here is that I can make changes to this container, and I've already made changes because I've created this directory here called Docker Hub Tutorial. So if I type exit, now I am out of that container, and you can see though it's still standing up there. So again, an image is a blueprint and a container is an actual instance. So what we want to do is Docker Hub does not house containers, it houses images. So we're going to take the container that I just created and made an edit to, and we're going to commit it to an image. And then we're going to push that image to Docker Hub. So the way you do that is we could do Docker commit, and we'll take the ID of our container, which is standing up right now, and we're going to commit it to an image. And I'm going to push this to my private Docker Hub account, and my username is MacGyver Technology. And then we do / image name. Let's call this Docker Hub test. And if I want to, I could put a tag, but I'm not going to put a tag because we don't need to. So this command just committed that container to an image. So that is still local. So if I do Docker images, okay, so now you can see that image there. Great, we have our local image, but we want to now push it to Docker Hub. So we can easily do that by doing Docker push. We pass it the image name. So it's just Docker push, as easy as Docker pull. Okay, and that was successful. Now, one caveat I want to make here is this would have given us an error if I wasn't logged in to my Docker account. So, for instance, there is a command called docker login and docker logout. It would have given us an error if I tried to push it if I was logged out. I just currently am logged in, but let me just show you that. So I'm going to log out. Okay, and I'm going to try the same thing. So I'm going to try to push that, and I should get an error. Yeah, unauthorized authentication. So when you are pushing to your remote Docker Hub repository, you want to do docker login. So now, if I try to push it, it works. So let's go to Docker Hub and see if we can find our image that we just pushed. So I'm going to sign in. Okay, so I have a bunch of images, but let's see if we can find our newest image right here, Docker Hub test. So now it's up in the cloud, and it's set to public, meaning anyone can pull this, whether they're logged in or whether they're not logged in. We could go to settings and set it to private if we want, in which case only we could pull it, or we could add collaborators who can also pull it. But right now it's public. So why don't we try this? We're going to delete it locally. So if we list out our containers here, I have this. Let me stop this container and then delete it. So to stop a container, use docker stop, and then to remove it, we use rm. And now if we do list containers, there's nothing. And then let's go over to our images. If we tried to delete the image without stopping the container, it would have thrown up an error. So let's remove our images. So to remove an image is docker rmi. Looking good. And let's remove our initial Docker Ubuntu image that we downloaded. All right, so now we have nothing locally, guys. No images, no containers, nothing. So what if I want to download my image because I want to work out of it again? All we have to do is docker pull this should be sufficient to download our image. Let's see. Might take a while here because it's going to be downloading the layers. It would be a lot quicker if I kept Ubuntu since it's basically Ubuntu. But let's see here. And what I'm going to show you guys is we're going to download the image. We're going to stand up a container of the image. And if we did everything correctly, we should see the edits that we made to that container. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys here. I think this first layer is the big one, so should be quick after this. Let's see. All right. Okay, so our image is there. Let's run a container and let's stand it up. So docker run -it-d. We will pass it okay, let's find our container. Let's log into our container. And let's list out the contents of this container. And there it is. You guys can see our Docker Hub tutorial. Our edit is still there. So, you know, that's how you can push and pull to Docker Hub. That's how you can do local dev work and then push it to the cloud. You know, one thing to note here is the name of the image follows a certain pattern. The pattern is your username / the image name, and then you could do :tag. So for instance, if I wanted to tag this image, I would just commit it with the : /tag. It's pretty easy. It would just be docker commit, and then pass it the container, and then we could just do, and then we could do version 2. Docker is not installed in the container that I'm currently in, so that would explain that. Do you guys get that? Docker is not in the container, so I need to exit the container, and then we'll throw up the same command here. Okay, now if I list out images, so we have the original one, and then we have a tagged version. I think tagging is good for like essentially versioning, I think. But yeah, guys, so I just wanted to give you an introduction to Docker Hub and registries, and kind of just show you guys how to push your stuff to the cloud. And that's all I got today.